in my opinion, Philip Picciotti was like my partner in guitar playing crime. We grew up together in grammar school. And Philip had a lot of raw talent. He was a great player. He could emulate Elvis Presley's moves and his voice. We were in the Cherubs together. I played bass and Philip played rhythm guitar, and we just grew up together, and we had a parallel. But Philip and Philip moved out of West End, moved to 6th Avenue in Long Branch, and I'd go over his house and he'd throw on a T-Rex album, or Jeff Beck's Truth album, which was phenomenal stuff at the time. And we'd just sit there and listen to it and analyze the stuff and talk about, trade ideas and stuff, and then talk about who we were going to go watch play. And the primary person that he and I were interested during Bruce's child Earth days was a guy named Billy Chenick. When Philip and I saw Billy play for the first time at a small coffee house type club in Long Branch on the corner of Ocean Avenue and Broadway called the Vineyard, we were just floored. We said, "Who is this guy? Is amazing."
Who was in his band?
Well, at the time I saw him, he was in a band called, during this time I'm talking about, he was in a band called the Storytellers, and the band consisted of Danny Federici on Hammond organ, which in those days, if you had a Hammond organ in your band, you were making an amazing sonic statement, because the Hammond organ is just like the almighty, powerful Hammond organ. If you had one of them in your band, it was impossible to not be a good band. Just from the sound of the damn thing, it was just like breathtaking. So he had Danny Federici playing Hammond organ, Gary Talent played bass, who now is in Bruce's band. Same thing with Danny. And Vinny Lopez played drums in Billy's band. As far as I can remember, David Sanchez wasn't in this band. He comes in later. I'm trying to figure out the roster here. I may have seen
Was Vinny?
Vinny Roslin, who was also a bass player. I used to play with Bruce, may have played with Bill Chenick every now and then. I'm vague about that, but I remember a blonde-haired guy playing bass some of the times. Vinny Roslin was in Bruce's three-piece bands. I used to go to Teen Debut and see Bruce's bands like Earth and shit, and Vinny Roslin was in those bands. Vinny Lopez was in Billy Chenick's band, the Storytellers. But look, in my opinion, those guys were part of a good band, but the reason that we went to hear them is because of Bill Chenick. Billy Chenick was he was the first guy that I saw live and in person, on a local level, that just like completely made me realize that what I was doing was rudimentary, it was elementary, and I thought I was good because I could play real fast and I could play Led Zeppelin songs and stuff. But when I saw this guy play, I realized how inadequate I was as a musician, because not only did Billy Chenick have great tone, had a great voice, he had a great sense of melody, phrasing, but he would sit down and talk to us, and like you would talk to a teacher. I'd ask him a question like how he got the sound that he did out of his guitar, and he would come back with comments like, well, what I do is I think of Ray Charles's voice, and I try to emulate the same soulfulness that I hear Ray Charles sing and play it through my guitar. And I remember the guy had an amplifier. It was a twin reverb head that he himself attached to a super reverb cabinet. So he even went as far as to like construed this amplifier like it looked like a homemade piece of shit, but that was his homemade piece of shit. It was cool because he took a hybrid of things that he knew would work and put it together, and it did work. He plugged right into the amp. I was at a point where I needed a fuzz tone to get that over-driven sound. It didn't even dawn on me to plug directly into the amp and turn the amp up to 10. We didn't play like that